All right, so we've got Daniel here, and we started working together around about 3 months ago now. And obviously, a lot's changed since we first connected. So, Daniel, you went from starting from scratch with an idea to having a clear offer, a delivery process, a consistent way to book calls, 14.5K in revenue, which is brilliant. Your first sort of team members as well, and a business that I know will sort of continue to grow exponentially over the next few months. So, today, what we're going to do is we're going to run through how you've actually been able to achieve that. All right. So to recap, you started with no offer, no acquisition systems, no tracking systems, no team, and I guess no real clear path except knowing that you wanted to be selling for yourself instead of someone else. So I guess, do you want to just give me like a rundown of where you were when we sort of first connected, and then what have been the sort of biggest changes over the last 3 months?
Yeah, so, where I was a high ticket closer in the info space, and I started that probably about a year and a couple months ago, and it was going well. I was really good at what I did. I loved it. The thing is that, you kinda stay at this, like, stagnant point, especially, like, when you're in that industry for so long, you kinda stay at this, like, employed status, right? And you're not necessarily, like, building for yourself, but you're building for a lot of other clients. And realizing that, I was able to get, 50, 70, 80K cash collected for these guys and understand that, like, I'm able to get that through the door, but not for myself, right? I'm only taking 10% of that at home. And so what I started to realize is that, like, if I wanted to get to those type of numbers, if I wanted to get to that business aspect where I'm making that, which I already knew that I can get there, I needed like some systems in place. I needed something to get started. I knew that I wanted to start my own agency. I just didn't know what I wanted to sell or like how I wanted to structure it. And I was very kind of lost in that aspect. So one of the biggest things that I've learned kind of just like working hand in hand with you is like going from just one piece of the puzzle, just closing the deal, to the whole entire system being processed. So like how to do client acquisition to then onboarding, service delivery, all those different intricacies has made me more confident in actually running my own business. So rather than me being that one piece, right, I'm actually the whole test score. So that was one of the biggest things that I learned working with you, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like when you're in only a certain aspect of a business and you only see one part of it, you sort of have no idea how many different things actually go into like making the whole machine work. So yeah, I definitely agree. Okay, so obviously you said you're at like 14.5K in revenue at the moment. What has sort of, I guess, contributed to that in terms of what are the kind of things that we put in place from, I guess, where we started, no offer, to actually getting to a point now where we can consistently book calls, we can charge a premium price, and yeah, do it consistently so that you can do what you're good at, which is obviously sales.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the first things, like I think what was it, like 3 weeks in, I'm signing my first client for like 500 bucks. And when I realized a lot of the service delivery that you taught me was worth way more, I was like, I'm totally undercharging for this. And so when you kind of put it together where you created the offer, where you kind of like sat with me and did the service delivery, and I saw the changes, right? Because even for the client that I signed up for $500, I saw the changes in his business immediately, effective immediately. And that kinda, like, inspired me where I was like, "Okay, like, I'm gonna do a lot of work for people, and I'm gonna change their business. I'm gonna essentially take them from the dinosaur age to now where we're at today, and I have to be able to charge for what I'm worth." And some of the things that really just, like, contributed to that was just understanding how powerful the service delivery was, having confidence in that, and then being able to effectively communicate the offer and obviously all my deliverables. I think that that was like one of the main things that kind of put me on a pedestal because even when I got these clients, I ran them through all the deliverables and they were absolutely shocked. They thought that they were getting more bang for their buck. And they are, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's like this is what it's worth and this is the type of value that you kind of taught me in executing, and I've been grateful ever since.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think like a lot of people underestimate the importance of like clarity because as soon as you know, okay, I can actually provide, like, it's not just theory, I know that I can actually provide this level of value to a certain company, then there's no like hesitation when it comes to putting in the work to actually acquire clients. Because I think a lot of people are, I guess, subconsciously scared that they're not going to be able to deliver. Whereas, like, when you have that confidence, it's like you run around screaming, shouting about your offer because you know that it really helps people, and
Yeah.
then you just want to go and attract new clients.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, even at the beginning stages before we even met, I
Yeah.
have this perfectionist syndrome, right? I felt like I needed to get everything figured out. I was running in circles. I was building a website for almost 2 weeks, I remember, before I even met you. And I'm all like, "Dude, this stuff isn't moving the needle. This stuff isn't, like, making me get closer to closing clients." Right? And so a lot of people, especially in the beginning stages, we get stuck at, like, having everything so perfect and having everything, like, so, like, down packed, and it gets you just caught in this loop, in this cycle where you're doing mundane tasks that are not actually moving the needle. And so you taught me, like, those tasks that, "Hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z to actually move the needle, to actually, like, get closer to where we wanna go." And so, like, these calls that we had were super intentional in moving that path forward, which allowed me the clarity, allowed me the confidence, allowed me, like, the execution, and, it was just amazing, man.
Yeah, I think like one of the good things that I think is one of my favorite things to do with clients is like right at the start of the program, actually understand like what are we working towards? Because otherwise, as you said, you can just end up in this loop of going round and round, not really knowing where you're going. Whereas when you have that clear path, it's like the little things like a landing page. How quickly did we build one with AI? It's like finding took like minutes, right? It's like finding those super quick ways to get rid of those small like admin tasks that don't actually push things forward and allow for the time to focus on what you're good at, focus on the things that actually move the needle, and then you sort of grow from there.
Mhm.
Cool. So then next question would be, I guess, like, how would you compare your knowledge of AI and automation systems as a whole compared to when we started?
It's a night and day difference, brother. It's a night and day difference. I had no idea what this stuff was. I looked at, like, even when you built out your whole entire workflow, I was like, "Oh, this stuff is confusing." But when you sat there and you kinda took me through the whole process, I mean, my knowledge has, like, extended, right? And now that I understand, because it's a level of understanding what things are meant for, right? Because, like, we get surface level, like, information, especially, like, when you're looking through the internet and you're looking through this prompting and you're looking through all this stuff, you get that's all surface level. There's things that need to happen. There's, like, thought processes that you need to have in order to execute at a high level with those type of AI and automations things. And, a lot of the times, like you told me, like, okay, like, if you're thinking like that, kind of prompt the ChatGPT bot to think like that, right? Because then it'll make you the best prompt, and then it will make you like the things that you're actually thinking of. And if you need to make like any adjustments, like, make sure you're putting every single little detail. And so my knowledge, I mean, compared to where I was before, I mean, it's a night and day difference. Now I go to clients with this big web automation, and they're looking at me like I'm some Albert Einstein. Like, it's crazy.
No, it's brilliant. And it's like such a valuable skill to have at the moment. And I think a lot of people, they look at it and things like AI, like they're scared of it because they think, oh my God, it's so complex, it's so massive. Like, how would I even get started? I don't think I'm the type of person that could learn that. And it's like those type of beliefs will always stop you because a lot of the time it's just taking those complex things, breaking them down into like, what are we actually doing here? Like, what are the step by steps? I run you through like that. Like, what is the stage of the business? And then what does that workflow look like? When you break it down like that, like it stops being complicated. It's just like, oh, right, we're solving this process. This is just the sort of like techie stuff that allows it to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude, you could even ask my wife. Like, she sees me prompt now, and she's like, "Wow, you gotten a lot better at that." I'm like, "Yeah." When you start breaking things down, like, you get to give it a goal, you get to give it a personality, you get to give it tasks. There's a lot of things that come with it. And yeah, man, I'm super grateful because it allowed me the confidence to actually have conviction while I'm selling as well too, right? Because, like, it's not even about knowing AI and automations. It's about, like, having the conviction that, like, I know this, right? And I know that I can sell this. I know the value that I provide. So, like, it allowed me that conviction to really just have a lot of full faith and belief in myself and my business.
Yeah, and I think that's important because like in essence, I could just build an offer and give it to people. But if they don't fully understand it, and it's why I'm so big on like not just the implementation, but the consulting as well, and like the training, so that you can actually understand the value that you're providing. So that when you're on a call and you get asked that tricky question, you can actually explain that you can explain the value and give them confidence. And I think like that has such a big difference in selling.
Yeah, 100%. It always feels good whenever they, hit you with the big eyes. They're like, "Wow."
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know you said you were talking about like your wife and how she's noticed the difference. That leads me on to my next question. I was going to ask, like, has your life changed in any way that you've noticed, I guess, outside of business as well?
Brother, I'm moving this Sunday. It is currently Saturday, so I'm moving tomorrow. Yes. I'm moving out tomorrow, man. I was stuck at like, making this like probably like 6, 7K per month. And this has allowed me the confidence to move forward and create a new chapter in my life and be able to, provide a home for my family now that now I know exactly what I need to do in order to go get it, right? In order to generate the revenue, in order to do service fulfillment. Now I know exactly what to do. And so like it's not like and I always told myself that, right? Because like a lot of people, especially when they're making those like leaps of faith,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, but like I'm not financially stable or I'm not this." But it's like once you crack the code and you get a little taste of what it looks like, it's like put yourself in an uncomfortable position and continue to do that thing, right?
Yeah.
The rinse and repeat cycle. And so outside of business, yeah, man, like that's the biggest thing. Obviously, I'm a father, so one of the biggest things for me was putting my family under a roof that I take care provider providing for them. So like that's what life is looking like. And I'm super excited for this next chapter of my life. It's about to start tomorrow. So
Very well.
yeah, wish me luck, man.
Good luck. I'm so glad to hear that as well. And like, if we look back, do you remember the target that we set like on our very first call? Obviously, we're setting a target revenue of like, what do you want to be making? I think we said like 6 months from now. And I think that was 20K a month. And it's like, how realistic does that now seem once you've really only got a taste of it? It's been 3 months, right? So like when you have that taste, how likely do you think that is now?
I mean, in a blink of an eye, I can't even explain like it is super, super possible. And mind you, even when we were through with the 3 months, right, in that consultation, the next 2 weeks, I pushed so hard. I pushed, like, everything that I had. I exhausted everything that I had. I wasn't having as much, like, calls getting booked in from, the info space and stuff like that, and so I told myself, I'm like, "Listen, either one or two things are gonna happen. You can fold under pressure and go back to trying to find another offer or whatever, or you can actually set out what you said you're gonna do for the last 3 months." And I did that. And for the last 2 weeks, I made sure to do everything in my power to deliver it, to make sure I get in front of people's faces.
Yeah.
And I ended up closing 2 clients, generated 14K. And so really good news moving into December.
Yeah.
Um, and this is like some really cool stuff. But essentially, I had got the opportunity to go actually connect with clients in a different state. So very, very soon, I'm going to be taking a nice little business trip out to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then from there, I have around like 6 meetings set up with different clients that I'm going to go ahead and pitch business to. And I'm fully confident that I could be able to deliver. I'm fully confident that I'm gonna be able to close. So potentially we're looking at alone in the month of December, we're looking around like 25, 30K right there. Um Generated. So that is one of the biggest things that's happened. And it's funny because those people came from those 2 weeks of work where I'm constantly reaching out to people, where I'm constantly asking people, "Hey, do you know anybody?" Where I'm constantly like posting on my Instagram, DMing people, texting people, you know what I mean? Like going crazy, trying to find people. And then once those two clients signed up, it was just like a domino effect. It fell into the hands of other people that actually wanted it. And now I actually have the opportunity come next month to not only pitch 2 clients, but 6, right? That allows me the opportunity
Yeah.
to really, smash my goals. Like, forget about 30K a month. I know
Yeah.
that
100%.
we're probably gonna reach new heights after this one. And yeah, just rinse and repeat the cycle. It's amazing, man.
That's awesome. And in person as well. I know you're confident in your sales skills. In person, it's only going to like be even easier. So that is brilliant. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Um, cool. So then I was going to ask, like, how would you compare, I guess, our level of service to other consultants slash agencies? Because like I've spoken to so many people who have had terrible experiences for much larger investment. So it's a case of like, how would you compare to, I guess, a lot of the other people in the market that are maybe offering or saying that they are offering something similar?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Before you, I've invested around like 20 grand into myself,
Yeah.
in different programs. This has been one of the most life-changing programs for myself. The reason why I say that is because it's actual direct dedicated one-on-one access. And it's like you're here to help. Any questions that I have, I know I can rely on you. And so you make yourself not only reliable but very dependable. And it makes me feel confident that like the person that's consulting me has my best interest in mind. And so I didn't have to second guess or feel as if like, oh, did I make a mistake investing or anything like that. As soon as the first 2 calls happened, I was like, "Okay, this is good stuff here." And again, like, the results only speak for itself. You built my confidence in the AI and automation space. You built my whole entire offer from start to finish. We've consulted back and forth. We bounced ideas. We made a actual foundation so that way I can set out and start to build my empire, you know? Uh, and yeah, man, like, you definitely can have those hesitations, especially, like, when you're looking at it from the outside in, but when you get inside, man, and the dedicated access and the support and everything that you need, even when I ask you for things, immediate, like, Loom video sent over. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, nice." You know what I mean? And so, like, I'm already I just feel so confident and I'm feel so grateful that we crossed paths,
Right on.
because I know that we just crossed paths through the DMs, like, someone had sent me over it's like looking for someone. I was like, "Hey, does anybody know AI and automation?" Someone sent me over to you. And now I don't even have to ask those questions anymore. I'm the guy. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Closes the deals that doesn't service delivery that you know. Uh, so it's definitely a blessing, man.
Brilliant. Yeah. And it's been great fun working with you, to be honest. Like I have thoroughly enjoyed the last 3 months. And I think the difference between a lot of what other people pitch in terms of done for you or done with you is they present it one way, or at least what I see a lot of offers doing is they present it one way in terms of you get dedicated support. We're there to actually help you get results. Ends up being a course with like group coaching. And I feel like for a lot of people would actually need the pieces just put together for them and then they can execute on it. Like the one-to-one support and actually giving you, set of actions each week to stay on task. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the most beneficial things.
Yeah, 100%, and then that helped me out a lot too, man. Is like, not only you kinda, like, walking me through because I'm a type of person that, like, I need that hands-on help, right? And, like, when you're sharing your screen with me, when you're showing me how to do it, when you're kinda connecting the pieces together, and then towards the end of the call, you're giving me these actionable steps, it just makes me have that clarity. So now I have, like, 5 to 6 steps that, "Hey, this week is this," right? And, like, do not show up to the next call without this done, right? So it gave me a because I'm a workaholic, man, and like you give me things that I need to do, that I need to complete. It's like I'm gonna go get it done, right? And especially because you already had broken it down so easy for me to kind of just step in and actually like start to execute.
Yeah,
It helped out a lot.
brilliant. Cool. So, next question is like, I often hear people say things like this is a common objection I get all the time, and it annoys me because I feel bad for these people. They say things like, "Let me figure it out first," in terms of like, "Let me sign my first client first," or like, "Let me learn a little bit more, then get help." So my question to you is like, do you think that these results would have been possible, I guess, so quickly on your own?
That's a good objection. And what I would say to those people, it's like you have to ask yourself, right? And first of all, to answer your question, these results wouldn't be attained if I did it on my own. I just point blank simple. You have to ask yourself, especially when you're saying that objection, it's like, do you care about getting to your goal all by yourself, or do you just care about getting to your goal?
Right.
You just care about getting to your goal. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether you do it all by yourself. It doesn't matter whether you get help or anything like that. It's just about getting there, right? And whatever needs to come between that for you to be here to get to that goal, those are things to amplify it, right? And if they're not amplifying it, they're hurting it. And so like you have to understand it's like, you don't know what you don't know. And there's things between fine lines that you just can't see that people know way better than you, right? And even for you, Samson, I was like, when you kind of like sat down and taught me a lot of this stuff, I was like, this guy knows way more than I do. And that's like what gave me the confidence to know that I was in the right place, right? Because like that's what I wanted. I wanted someone that knew way better than I did, right? Because if I'm a rookie, you know what I mean? The worst thing that I'm gonna do is stay where I'm at, right? I gotta find a veteran. I gotta find someone that's actually doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Be because then that's gonna amplify my growth and get me closer to my goal, because the only thing that I care about is getting to my goal. I don't care about whether I can do it all alone. I don't care about being, the self-made guy, you know what I mean? No one's self-made, man. There's billions of people in the world. You're not gonna get to the top all alone. Someone is gonna open up a door eventually where you're just gonna walk in, right? And it's gonna get you to that point. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, yeah, it's like the simple question that you just have to ask yourself, it's just like, you just get to the goal, man. Just get to the goal. It doesn't matter what has to come between. Do whatever it takes, right? Because there's guys where they set out a goal and like they will do whatever. They will invest whatever. They make sure they put their best foot forward. Whoever they need to find in order to get closer to that, for us, it's a cheat code, right?
Yeah.
If you really think about it, right? Because before I met you, Samson, you were already 10 steps ahead. I was still at ground zero,
Yeah.
right? And through this process, I was able to get one, two, three, four, five, six. You know what I mean? I was able to get those steps in 3 months.
Yeah.
Crazy to quick, very quick, man. And it's like it's crazy in 3 months. Now I generated 14K. I'm on pace to make around like 40K. Um, and that's all because I didn't have this ego of like,
I don't want to do one. I'll figure it out. Yeah.
exactly, like, no, man, like you're not gonna be able to just get a client firsthand. It has to be a process. It has to be a process.
100%. I've been thinking about this a lot in terms of people who say like, "Oh, I've been working for like a year and I haven't got there." I just think like it took me 7 years. Like I started my first business when I was like 14. I made a video about this the other day. Like I'm 21 now and now I make good money. But if you're starting out from ground zero and you can access the level of knowledge of 7 years worth of like mistakes, trial and error for, you know, a certain price tag, like it's 100% going to be worth more than that to you. Because like, would you rather wait till you were like, let's say you're 20, would you rather wait till you're 27 to do those 7 years yourself? Or would you rather just pay to get those lessons quickly and then get to the next level a lot sooner?
No, I mean, of course. And the thing is that if you've been working for a whole year and haven't got the result and you've been doing it all by yourself,
It means you
but
don't know.
there's a problem. You know what I mean? Like look in the mirror, have that self-reflection, right? And I knew for a fact it's like if I can get someone that's already does this stuff, like I can and they can teach me how the way you taught me, just that one-on-one help, I knew it was gonna be end game. You know what I mean? I knew that like I was gonna get everything that I needed.
100%.
So get on.
So literally. Okay. So, last question is, I guess, like we've somewhat covered it as well, but like, what would you say to someone who I guess is on the fence about working with me one on one?
Yeah, get off that fence, man. Get off that fence. It's not worth it, right? You're gonna stress yourself out thinking like, oh, like I may need to get a client first, or I may want to do this on my own first. And it's like, what's the point in that when you already have someone that you can have access to that again has 7 years of experience? What's the point in that? Right. And it's like it doesn't make sense. It's like you again, just kind of going back to my analogy of just you need to find a veteran. Like there's no other way behind it, right? The people that are up top, right? They had people that were veterans. They had people in their industry that they learned from, they executed from. I mean, damn, even Alex Hormozy, he learned from a guy that owned a storage unit when he was dead broke.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy, but that guy was already 10 steps ahead and started to teach him stuff. right? And so, like, we idolize these guys that are at the top, but we don't understand, like, hey, these guys actually, like, have people in their circle that make them a lot better. And I don't know how many entrepreneur books that you have to read to them to show you, like, get a network, get people around you, all this stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know how many books because I've read countless books that kept continuing to say that. Get people around you, get a network, get someone that's better than you, all that stuff. Because I know, like, I come from a sports background and I know, like, when I play with people at a high level, it makes me want to play so much harder, right? I don't want to be the guy that's falling behind. I don't want to be the guy that's like slacking. I want to be the guy that's like I can equate to those levels. I can match that, right? And even if I can't, I'm working my way up towards it. And so, like, when you come from a background and you understand the uniqueness of coaching, especially from a sports background, it's a night and day difference. I wouldn't know how to play the sport that I play now without any coaching. I wouldn't know how to do my business without any coaching. Just point blank and simple.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think like too many people don't realize that they have no one around them to push them. And then they wonder why they're like not getting very far. You need the people around you to give you that push to go, like, go for it. Like, here's the path, like, run it, you know?
100%. I always tell people it's like your environment molds your mentality eventually molds the reality, right? And so, like, in the environment, you have to have things that serve you because if things are not serving you, they're meant to control you. And if they're meant to control you, they're not meant to serve you, right? And so your environment has to have things that are serving you, that are pushing the needle, that are making sure that it aligns with your goals. And then the mentality is going to shift to, like, you know what? I have the people around me. If I have a problem, like, I can go to someone. If I have, like, a lack of confidence in this, I have someone that's already done this, right? And then it develops this mindset of, like, I have this backbone, I have this support, I have this foundation. And then ultimately all that confidence, all that built up like support and work is gonna get you to the point where your reality is gonna start molding itself into what you always wanted. But it starts with the environment, man. It starts
Yeah,
with that.
for
Yeah.
sure. Daniel, listen, it has been a pleasure working with you. I'm unbelievably excited for the sort of next 3 to 6 months. I know you're going to kill it. So honestly, I'm wishing you the best of luck. And yeah, I'm excited to see where you go.
I appreciate you, Samson. Thank you so much for everything, man.